Hello YouTube Divers, this is WaterDive 122 and I want to welcome you all to another episode of Magic Metal Mondays. Today we are going to be talking about a band that we have not talked about on this channel in almost a full calendar year. It is, I still find that very hard to believe, but it is true. Today we are going to be counting down my top 10 favorite songs from English progressive metal / death doom legends, part of the Peaceville Records trio, Anathema. So as I said, Anathema, in my opinion, they don't really need that much of an introduction, but because I already talked about them in episode 61, but whatever. They were part of the Peaceville Trio alongside bands like Paradise Lost and My Dying Bride. All three of these bands at least started off as Death Doom, and then eventually went on to other things. Unless if you're My Dying Bride, who's basically just been doing a lot of Death Doom stuff as of recently. But at the same time, all three of these bands are very poetic. They're very depressing sounding, and they're just very dark and gloomy. Anathema is absolutely no exception to this rule. In fact, I would argue that Anathema probably has the most atmosphere and emotion compared to those other two bands. But Anathema in particular, I really love their progressive metal side, as well as their Death Doom classic era, as well as their pop prog music that they would get on to in their last two records. They have a lot of great albums. In fact, dare I say all of their records are at least good. If you want more information on what I think about their albums, you could go watch episode 61, where I ranked Anathema's albums from bottom to top. So there's that. But yeah, to understand who Anathema are, let's look at the lineup. They've had a lot of lineup changes over the years, particularly in the rhythm section department, like in the drummer and the bass guitar, and the keyboard lands. And they've also had a lot of changes in vocalist, particularly on their first album, Serenades. They had a guy named Darren White as their lead singer, and then from Silent Enigma onwards, their rhythm guitar player Vincent Kavanaugh took over as lead vocalist, and he was kind of the sole vocalist of Anathema up until the late 90s, when Lee and John Douglas joined the band. Lee Douglas does female vocals. She does a lot of lead vocals as well as backing vocals on a lot of Anathema's records throughout the 2000s and 2010s. While John mainly handles keyboard work, and I also believe that he also was a big songwriter in Anathema's department alongside lead guitarist Daniel Kavanaugh. And they've also had Jamie Kavanaugh on bass throughout the years, and then they've had a revolving door at drummers and keyboardists. I can't remember all their names off the top of my head, so there's that. Those are pretty much all the important people that you need to know about this band. But without further ado, let's actually get into my top 10 favorite songs from this amazing band. Let's start. Coming in at number 10 is, believe it or not, actually a cover. This is a song called Hope. It's off of their third album, Eternity, from 1996. And it was originally released by a solo artist named Roy Harper, and the music was written by superstar guitarist David Gilmour from Pink Floyd. Throughout the course of Anathema's career, especially in their more proggier albums, I hear a lot of Pink Floyd influence, and it makes sense, because, I mean, Pink Floyd's a really big band. Also, they're from England, nonetheless. But I especially hear those David Gilmour sounds on this song. Specifically in those guitar arpeggios. Oh my gosh, it sounds so good. The vocals by Vincent are absolutely amazing on here. The spoken word section at the very beginning, even though I don't really like spoken word sections in songs, I'm willing to give it an exception here. It's very poetic. It's very atmospheric, I'd say. And that's sort of a kind of theme that you're going to hear throughout the course of this video. Anathema are a very atmospheric band. And it's songs like this, even though it's a cover, it just is a great example. What more do you want me to say? I love this song. It was very close between this and Eternity Part 1 for an entry on this list from the Eternity album. But I had to go with Hope, mainly because it's just very memorable. I mean, all the songs on Eternity are pretty memorable, if you ask me, but Hope especially. Like, once you hear that guitar arpeggio, it's a constant earworm. It's so good. So yeah, with that said, Hope comes in here at number 10. Number 9, we got Fragile Dreams from their 4th album, Alternative 4, released in 1998. This is one of the band's most classic songs, along with songs like A Dying Wish from The Silent Enigma, as well as One Last Goodbye from Judgment. Fragile Dreams in particular, I mean, and even some other classic songs from the Alternative 4 album, like Regret, Field, Destiny, and the title track as well. All those songs are great. Alternative 4 is easily one of their best albums. It's undeniable. But in my opinion, Fragile Dreams is the best song from this record. It's so dark. It's so sad. It's just classic Anathema at their very best. That's all I could say. This is a lot of Anathema fans say that this is the saddest song they've ever written. And honestly, it's not hard to see why. I mean, just the atmosphere alone just reeks of depression and sadness and gloominess. It is just a feeling vibe that is completely unmatched with everything else in their discography. But yet this song is only at number 9. I think that just speaks volumes to just how great Anathema are at just writing just beautifully written and constructed pieces of music. So with that said, Fragile Dreams comes in here at number 9. Beautiful song. Number 8, we're going to be talking about the opening track from their sophomore album, The Silent Enigma, from 1995. We're going to be talking about Restless Oblivion. One of the rare couple of tracks that actually has Vincent Cavanagh, or Cavanagh, or however you pronounce his last name, doing growls. Now, I much prefer Vincent doing cleaner vocals as he would do on later records. And actually, from Eternity onwards, he does a lot more clean vocals. This is really Silent Enigma is really the only album where he does growling. Because at this point, Darren White is out of the band, and Vincent Cavanagh is now doing full-on lead vocals. And he sounds great. I think his voice perfectly fits Anathema's sound and style. Like, in his clean vocals, he's very melodramatic. He sounds like, I really don't know how to describe his voice. He kind of sounds like a depressed human being in the dark, just whispering, saying, "Oh my gosh, I'm so sad," or essentially something like that. But with his growling, you can really feel the anger and the grit and the sheer emotion in his voice. And Restless Oblivion is, in my opinion, the best example of that. I will say that The Silent Enigma as an album is one of the most atmospheric records I've ever heard. And The Restless Oblivion is absolutely no exception to this rule. It is very atmospheric, particularly midway through the song. Oh my gosh, that atmosphere is just so stunning. What more can I say? Restless Oblivion, easily one of my favorite tracks from the Silent Enigma album, comes in here at number 8. Number 7, we got the Lightning Song from Weather Systems, 2012. Weather Systems is another popular pick for being the band's best album, and for good reason. It's jam-packed with so many great slow progressive metal jams. But in my opinion, the Lightning song is the best on this album. This is one of the songs that features Lee Douglas, their female singer, on vocals exclusively, and she sounds absolutely majestic on this song, and really on this whole entire album, if you ask me. Her voice is so pleasant for the ears. It's just unbelievable. In Lightning Song, it it was very hard to pick between this and the Untouchable epic, the Untouchables 1 and 2, as being my favorite song from Weather Systems, but Lightning Song just barely won it over, just because I love Lee Douglas's vocals, as well as the beautiful atmosphere throughout this song. It's a great song. So with that said, the Lightning Song comes in here at number 7. Number 6, we have my favorite song from the Silent Enigma album, and that is Nocturnal Emission. You want to talk about atmosphere? This song has got you covered. This is a very atmospheric track. There aren't a lot of vocals on this track. It's mostly instrumental, but there are a few spoken word sections here and there, a few vocal lines delivered here and there. But really, this is just a very atmospheric and ambient song. One of the most atmospheric tracks I've ever heard, and it's so beautiful. I love this track a lot. It's my favorite song from Silent Enigma. What more can I say? It's a great song. It's great. What more do you want me to say? And now, coming in at number 5, we have Thin Air, the opening track from their 2010 album, We're Here Because We're Here. If you remember from my Anathema ranking that I did literally almost a year ago, We're Here Because We're Here is my favorite Anathema album, and quite possibly one of my favorite progressive, atmospheric, doomy albums I have ever heard in my entire life. It's songs like Thin Air that is just, oh my gosh. The atmosphere on this song is so freaking beautiful. The vocals by Vincent Cavanaugh or however you pronounce his last name, is so freaking beautiful. It's just a beautiful song. What more can I say? Especially when it builds up to that climax. Oh my goodness, it's so good. So good. So with that said, Thin Air from We're Here Because We're Here comes in here at number 5. Number 4, we're going to be talking about the title track from their 2003 album, A Natural Disaster. Title Natural Disaster. This is my favorite song from the Natural Disaster album, and again, another beautiful song by Anathema. I'm sounding like a broken record here, but I really don't know what else to say. This is another song that features Lee Douglas on vocals exclusively. And in my opinion, this is her best vocal performance. I know Vincent delivers a few vocal layers at the very end of the song, but for the most part, it's Lee Douglas singing on here. And like I said with the Lightning Song, Lee's voice is so freaking smooth and just beautiful all the way around. It's not even somewhat debatable. It is so beautiful. I love her voice. And I will admit the song does kind of drag on at the very end, where they're just repeating the last 3 stanzas of the chorus. But at the end of the day, those vocal layers absolutely make it up. It is so surreal. It is so beautiful. I love this song. One of my favorite songs from them. So that said, A Natural Disaster comes in here at number 4. Number 3, we got the opening track from their 5th album, Judgment, from 1999, entitled Deep. This has one of my favorite Anathema riffs or guitar passages in their entire career. If not probably my favorite, because these last two songs we're going to be talking about aren't really as guitar heavy. But with this song, Daniel Kavanaugh delivers one of the just most emotional guitar passages I've ever heard. It's a great riff, it's a great hook, and it's very atmospheric. I love this song. It's a great song from a really good album. Deep, one of my favorite songs from Anathema. So with that said, Deep comes in here at number 3. Okay, so these last two songs are from the same album. They're both from We're Here Because We're Here, because, well, it's their best album. So, obviously, this is going to be the album that has the most songs up here in the top 10. But, yeah, so let's go ahead and talk about them. So, number 2, we have Everything. This is the 4th track from the We're Here Because We're Here album, and, if you want to talk about harmonizations, this is the best song in their discography. Because the vocal harmonies between Vincent Cavanna and Lee Douglas, oh my gosh, especially in that chorus, oh my gosh, it is so beautiful, so heart-wrenching, it is just easily a highlight of their career in every single aspect possible. Everything is literally everything that I could ever want within a modern Anathema song. Beautiful track. Absolutely stunning. What more do you want me to say? Alright, so now we have made it to number 1, and if you've seen my previous Anathema video, then you already know what is going to be number 1. It's another song from We're Here Because We're Here. We're going to be talking about Dreaming Light. This has Vincent Cavanagh's best vocal performance to date. It is not even close. He's had a lot of great vocal performances, especially from this album. But in my opinion, Dreaming Light is easily his most emotional, his most heart-wrenching, his most depressing vocal performance he has ever freaking delivered. The piano work, so freaking beautiful. The drums, amazing stuff. The midsection, where it's like that big, huge, progressive metal breakdown. It's stunning. I may or may not have mentioned this in my Anathema album ranking video, but legitimately, when I first heard this song for the very first time, I literally almost cried. Because this song is just that emotional, that atmospheric, and just that well put together. What more do you want me to say? This is the best song from Anathema's discography, in my own personal opinion. Anathema has a lot of great songs, but Dreaming Light will forever be my favorite song from them, and quite possibly one of the best progressive metal songs I have ever heard in my life. It is such a great song. Definitely check it out if you have not already. It's a great place to start with Anathema, too, if you're just getting into the band, honestly. It's so good. Alright, so with that said, those are my top 10 favorite Anathema songs of all time. Please let me know what your favorite Anathema songs are down in the comment section below if you so greatly desire to do so. And we'll see you on the next episode. So thank you so much for watching, my fellow YouTube divers. This is WaterDive122 signing out, ready to dive into more fun on YouTube. Thank you for watching.